Welcome to the Lifestyle Expansion Blueprint, where we dive deep into the mind, body, and soul of success. I'm your host, Gray, and here we believe that true growth begins from within. Whether you're seeking personal transformation, professional elevation, or simply looking to expand your life's possibilities, you're in the right place. Together, we'll explore the strategies, insights, and metaphysical principles that empower you to manifest the life you truly desire. So take a deep breath, open your mind, and let's embark on this journey of expansion. Your next level begins now.
All right, family. I need you to pull up a chair because we need to have another real conversation. Not about the obvious toxic relationships, you know, the ones where fists fly, voices scream, and everyone around can see it. No, today we're talking about the sneaky kind of abusive relationships. The ones that don't leave bruises on your skin, but slowly suffocate your spirit. And since life has a way of throwing me directly into the topics that I end up speaking on, oh boy. Let me tell y'all a little story. This one's going to be called the You Can't Talk to Her Anymore call. All right? So I have a friend, good friend. Let's call her Sarah. Now, Sarah and I have been friends for a little while, and not just casual friends. I mean real friends. The kind who talk about life and business, growth, and sometimes just bullshit. We've built a relationship based on mutual benefit. She's a client of mine. We've made money together, and we've had each other's backs. So imagine my surprise when I get a phone call from her. But she's not alone. Nope. Not alone. She's got her boyfriend on the phone, and they've apparently held a relationship summit about moi, yours truly. The verdict? Well, I have been formally unfriended. That's right. I got unfriended IRL. She tells me that we can no longer communicate unless it's strictly about business. Because her man, who, mind you, has never been in one of our sessions, signed a contract, done anything remotely connected to interacting, has decided that my presence in her life is a threat to his. What? Can you say ego? Can you say fragile sense of security? Or maybe it's the fact that I can use words with more than 2 syllables. I don't know, but I sit there on the phone, blinking in slow motion, trying to process what I'm hearing. And the only thing running through my mind as I'm listening to her talk is, sis, I need you to blink twice if you need help. But wait, it gets worse. Turns out this dude quit his job and relocated to the city that she lives in so they could be together, to live in her house. He was supposed to get his own place. He was supposed to build a life parallel to hers so that they could then come together as a productive union. That ain't what he did, y'all. He left everything behind to move in with her. And now that she doesn't want to be in the relationship anymore, he's using that to guilt trip her into staying. So let me translate. Because, you know, I'm a hood translator. I can translate through the bullshit. Let me translate his manipulation tactics for you. First, he's like, look at everything I gave up for you. Because to him, love is apparently a transaction, right? Okay. Or, you know, I have nothing without you. Translation for that one is, if you leave me, I will make you feel like the villain in my fucking sob story. It's the best one. You can't just abandon me after all I've sacrificed for you. Whew, because in his mind, love isn't about mutual happiness. No. It's about your obligation to me. This is classic manipulation. And Sarah, my good friend, is trapped. Not because she doesn't know she wants to leave. No. But because she feels guilty about how to leave. And that right there, well, that's how control works. That's how it works. So it doesn't always come in the form of physical abuse. Like, you know, it's not always about somebody beating your head in. Sometimes it comes in the form of weaponized guilt. It's the control game. That's what non-traditional abuse is. It's manipulating you into giving them control of the situation. When people think of abusive relationships, they often picture physical violence. But emotional, psychological, and controlling abuse can be just as damaging. Sometimes, most times, worse because it's harder to detect. Non-traditional abusive relationships don't always look like yelling and screaming. Sometimes they look like isolation, cutting you off from your family, friends, and anyone who challenges their control, or financial manipulation, making sure you're dependent on them so leaving feels impossible, or really they're playing mental warfare and they're gaslighting you and guilt tripping you and making you feel like you're the problem anytime you assert your independence. I think the worst part, the part that we're experiencing through the "you can't talk to her anymore" call, is emotional starvation. Or at least his attempt to emotionally starve her by giving love in doses based on how much control they have over you. And also the isolation, right? Now, I don't know what Sarah's dealing with behind closed doors, but I know enough to recognize that her relationship and her freedom, they're not in alignment. And the fact that she had to ask permission to have a conversation with me, yeah, that tells me everything I need to know. So what I want to talk about is how to survive and escape a controlling relationship. And so if anyone, or if you, or someone you know is dealing with this, let's be real. Let's be direct. Let's be curt. Telling them to just leave isn't helpful. It's not. That's your solution to a problem that you're not even experiencing. And that's crazy. Can't just tell them to just leave. Although that was in fact my first response to Sarah, but it isn't helpful. It's not. If it were that easy, then they would have done that already. Control-based relationships trap people, making them believe they can't leave, even if they want to. And that's either because they're afraid that the person is going to do bodily harm, or they're afraid for their family or their friends that may be affected by it, or they're afraid of hurting that person's feelings or putting them in a bad way because of the guilt. They don't want to deal with the guilt that this person has served up on a silver platter for them. So let's talk about the real steps to breaking free. First step is you've got to recognize what's fucking happening to you. And that ain't always easy. But if you're in a relationship where you feel controlled, manipulated, or owned for that matter, it's time to stop making excuses for it. Love is not possession. Love is not fear. Love is not guilt. If your partner is policing your relationships, making you feel guilty for existing independently, or isolating you, dear heart, that's not love. Number 2, you've got to focus on rebuilding your support system, and you should do it quietly if necessary. One of the first tactics of control-based relationships is isolation. They'll make you feel like you don't need anyone else. And once they have you alone, that's when they can easily rewrite reality. If you're in this situation, you've got to start reconnecting with trusted friends, your family, or even a therapist. Even if you can't openly communicate, start planting seeds for your escape. You've got to plant the seeds. You've got to nurture those seeds and grow the plan for your escape. Step 3, you got to secure your finances and other resources. Money is one of the biggest ways people control their partners. If you're financially dependent upon someone who's controlling you, you've got to start securing your independence. You've got to open a separate bank account, set up a financial exit plan. If needed, connect with the local resources that support people leaving controlling relationships. You can't move freely if someone else controls the purse strings. You've got to have control of your money. Number 4, you got to have an exit plan. Leaving a controlling relationship, it's not as simple as just walking out the door. It's going to require strategy. You have to have a safe place to go. You got to remember to pack important documents and essentials ahead of time because you're not going back for anything. And if necessary, yet again, seek professional guidance from a therapist, a lawyer, or a support group. The escape is just as important as the decision to leave. These steps are all about thriving beyond control, because surviving a controlling relationship leaves wounds, mental, emotional, and sometimes even financial. Healing means reclaiming yourself. It means rediscovering who you are outside of that relationship, rebuilding confidence in your own decisions, and learning to trust yourself again. And let me be clear, this isn't just about romantic relationships. Some of you are dealing with this from controlling family members or business partners or so-called friends who manipulate and drain you. The same principles apply. Recognize it, make a plan, and break free. Because the longer you stay, the harder it's going to be to remember who you were before the control took over. I want you to remember this. If you have to write it down, if you've got to rewind this and take notes, your freedom is non-negotiable. So listen to me. You do not belong to anyone, beloved. You are not someone's property. You are not someone's insecurity management system. In all forms, love should empower you, not confine you. It should feel like freedom, not prison. And if you're watching someone you love go through this, like I'm watching Sarah, you may not be able to force them out, but you can remind them of who they were before the control took over. You can remind them that they are strong, that they are capable, and that by God, they deserve better. If you need help from breaking free from toxic patterns, whether in relationships, business, or in life in general, let's talk. I need you all to know, I say it after every show. At the end, I tell you, it's a call to action. Through the Billionaire Brain Trust, we help people reclaim their power, expand their mindset, and step into the lives they were meant to live. I'm currently accepting new coaching clients. Well, I'm accepting new applications for coaching clients because in 2025, we're going to use discernment to determine who we're going to work with. And everybody can't go. And that's very much so how I would implore you to live your lives. Everybody that you've encountered cannot continue along with you on the journey. So we're accepting applications for coaching clients who are ready to break free from limitation and step into expansion. And if you need daily reminders of your strength, your power, and your right to be free, tune into this podcast, The Lifestyle Expansion Blueprint, because you belong to no one, but you do owe everything to yourself. So I ask you now, what are you going to do about it? Stay expansive, my friends. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Lifestyle Expansion Blueprint. My hope is that you're leaving with new insights and the tools to help you craft the life you envision. Remember, your blueprint for success is already within you. It just needs to be unlocked. If this episode resonated with you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to expand their life. Until next time, I'm Gray. Keep building, keep growing, and always stay in alignment with your highest self.